Shadakaka, everybody, what's happening? Today we're going to talk about something that's really crazy. Let's talk about the unauthorized use of your equipment on a gig. Normally, this is a touchy subject. I mean, it's really touchy. You go to a gig and there's two other bands that's on the gig. You get there early because you want your sound to be right. You get there early because you want the sound that you normally want to hear. So you bring your own amp, your own bass. You set everything up, and basically you go, not too far away. Basically, if you put your bass on the stage, you're not gonna go too far away from that anyway. Normally, I used to keep my bass with me, but if you got it on a stand, you're somewhere close by where you can see it. You're number 3. Your band is number 3. You're thinking the other group is gonna bring their own equipment, or they're gonna have a back line. Most times they have a back line, which is a cool thing. Backline is a cool thing. That way you ain't got to bring your own amp and stuff like that. Just your bass and your foot pedals and stuff like that. Okay, you got all that stuff sitting on the floor, and you're going up right after the next band. So you pretty much, while the other band is setting up, you pretty much set up your foot pedal and stuff like that, and you set up your bass because you're going up next. You go stand to the back because you want to hear how everything sounds, and all of a sudden you see this. Somebody just picked your bass up and about to play it. What do? There's 2 ways to take this. You don't want to run up there because you want to be cordial about it, but you've been disrespected. So this is what I would do. If I know the person, and I mean really know him, then I won't be all upset. And depending on what kind of bass I brought that day, I won't be that upset. But your stuff is your stuff. So basically what I would do is walk up to them cordially before they start playing and say, bruh, it's 2 ways we can handle this. You can set the bass back down where you got it, pick your bass up. Well, I ain't bring my bass, man. I figured you guys are gonna be here, so I was just gonna use your bass. But you didn't ask me. So now you're gonna have to either play with your lip, or we're gonna have an issue. And we don't wanna ever get to that part, all right? We don't wanna ever get to that part because actually we're musicians all together. But it's all about what line have you crossed, that respect line. If you cross that respect line, then we have other issues. To make a long story short, nobody really knows what you're due, in a situation like that. I've been in that situation where somebody walked up and I went out of a place and came back. I had set my equipment up, went out and came back, and my amp was being used. Nobody asked me. It was a church setting, so, I respected it. I'm like, okay, well, if I'd have walked in and the amp had been on 10, we'd have had an issue. But the amp was pretty low, and I do want to hear my amp every once in a while because I was standing away from it, so it was cool for me. And the guy was really a nice guy. He said, man, I didn't know that was your rig, but it wasn't your rig. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't my rig, but it wasn't your rig. But out of respect, we handled it like men. What would I do if I had my bass up there, somebody came and grabbed it? I might have an issue. I just have to figure out a way to do it without getting ugly. And that's what we all have to do as brothers and sisters. We have to figure out a way to solve an issue without making an issue everybody's issue. How did I say that? Did I say that right? Yeah, I said it right. So that's what I'm at today. So basically, guys, if you don't want somebody to use your stuff, make that perfectly plain at the beginning while everybody's setting up. Make it plain. And and out of respect, if you didn't bring your stuff and you see somebody else there that you see they got really nice stuff, out of respect, go ask them, hey, can I use your stuff? If not, I got my stuff in the car. You know, a lot of times cats may say, you better go get your stuff, because I'm splitting right after I hit, which is out of respect. So that's, I wanted to approach that today because I saw something come across. One of my little brothers went to a place and they had a padlock. It looked like a padlock, but they had a glass lock on the amp. I always, around the area within 100 miles, I'm taking my own amp. That's my thing. Within 100 miles, I'm gonna take my own amp. Anything past that, I'm gonna have to depend on their back line. All right. I mean, if I'm in town, a lot of times I do back line anyway, so I don't have to bring my stuff, but I bring it because I want to hear it. Guys, ladies, once again, if you don't want somebody to use your stuff, then make it known. Either pull the plug out, don't set the head on top, or put a note on top. Sometimes you can put a note on top. Hey, please don't use the amp. Ask first. Or either get there in time enough to say, hey guys, is there gonna be another amp, because I don't want everybody coming through my stuff. Me personally, I don't mind it as long as we don't have people with bad hearing. If I notice you have bad hearing doing sound check, you won't be using my stuff, because that means that everything has to be on 10, and you really don't need to be on 10 the way things are nowadays. I mean, sound systems nowadays are incredible. So basically, when you go past 4, you're pretty much so loud that it's unpleasant. So that's my take on getting to your gigs and not allowing people to use your stuff or letting them use your stuff. Or if you're that much about your stuff, then pretty much don't set it up. Don't set it up until it's time for you to go, which is a lot of headache, because you only got maybe 40 minutes per group, or 15 minutes per group, or 10 minutes per group to set up. And just a lot of people, the way things are now, because things are so compact, you can do that. But so that's my take. I think basses are a lot differently. People, got a tendency to be a little bit more angsty about their basses, than they are their amps. And anywho, Sharakaka. That's my take. Johnny Lee Long. Peace out.